Good morning, everyone. This is the first day of October, 2019, and it's about 9 o'clock um, uh, my time. And anyway, have a lot on the table that I've been studying today and last night, and learning. The great thing about where I have fun is learning, and I have lots of solutions that I'm looking at for a lot of different things. And as I follow the paths of different solutions, you learn a lot of things. Okay, and so the people are asking me, they say, "Well, how come you're interested in solar and you have a solution for a long-term uh, high Q motor?" And the answer is like I've found out for myself. Okay, you have to have, in my world, dependable energy, um, to what I call seed energy, to to work with. Okay, and the uh, the poles and wire guys, you know, when you get connected to that one wire that comes, if you've ever lived in a rural area and you've been used to using a wind motor to pump water, and then all of a sudden you can put an electric motor on there and you don't have to fool with it. Well, it's kind of neat. That's one of the great things about technology working in our physical construct is convenience. And the 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 energy grid, the mains power. Uh, you know, I've been on both sides where I've lived in the city, and then I've lived in rural areas, and in some areas that I've operated in. Um, you know, we didn't have solar. We didn't have all those were brand new technologies basically, and it was kind of like, yeah, you can do it, but um, uh, it's just plain old fashioned hard work to make things convenient. I've worked with lots of technologies that I've had to spend time to build the devices, work with it, and go, yeah, it works. But how would the normal person work with this type of things? What are the hazards? What are the safety measures? And one of the things with anything that I've ever been involved with is safety, safety, safety. The Yes, I want to respond to different things in my workaday world, but when I make a response to that, I want it to be safety conscious, and I want it to be convenient. And the type industries, when you're, I'm not looking to build any big companies. Been there, done that, got that T-shirt. Um, the reason that I'm posting is because there's a small group of people that are really working hard in their workaday world, and uh, they're creating, if you will, um, an environment that they want to create for themselves. Okay, and the uh, uh, the, in my region, most of the time where I've spent my life, I spent my life a lot around water. Spent a lot of life in rural areas, not so much in desert type conditions. And but it's nice to be able to get in and get cool. The automobile is one of the most wonderful things in the world to me, because you can get into your environment, you can get comfortable. If you're hot, you can cool down. If you're cold, you can heat up. Automobiles are really wonderful, and my hat's off to everybody that's working in the different fields to do everything. But for the home, we're on a path to going. Well, it actually costs more uh, to invest in solar, for example, than it does just to pay the monthly fee that comes from the power company. And we are crossing the line to where we can get a return on investment, and a good return on investment. When I first looked at solar power years ago, we were at $5 a watt for energy. Okay, and so it would take you a long time to make a return on your investment. Now we can do solar for about $1.50, $2 a watt, and so that's over a period to where there's a return on investment that you can receive from solar of about 6 to 7 years. And so the people that have the entrepreneurial spirit and they have the ability to employ capital, employ money, trade dollars to where you can have a savings. That's always been the cutting edge of technology that I've worked with. And the whole idea was to redirect dollars to do something else. And so it's some people are gonna latch on to solar more and more and more. Some people are gonna go, I'm fine with the pole and wire guys. It's always been convenient for me. There's some groups out there that they want to be prepared. They've been in hurricanes and they've been in storms. And they know how to do things to where they can be more reasonably comfortable, if you will, after a storm passes and during the time of rebuild. There's so many solutions out there, but the reason that I'm really focusing on solar again is because it incorporates right into what I'm doing. Because I'll always tell you, you're going to have seed energy. Okay, the normal electromagnetic power to power motors works very well at 60 hertz. Okay, and then with the Oriental motors, we can raise the frequency and get a return on investment with power. The whole thing when you're looking at a power system is that to really be efficient, you've got to be over 7,000 volts. Okay, and 7,000 volts, I'm sorry, but that's not something that I want my kid to just walk into, my dog to walk into, my cat to walk into. So the poles and wire guys, they have that pretty well figured out to where it's safe, and it does cost money to put those things up, and it is safe. It's relatively speaking, and I'm very proud of what we've done. People say, well, the Tesla technology, they had free energy, the electromagnetic wave, and once you understand the pulse system, whether you slow it down or speed it up, and the work that you can do with it and the size of material that it takes to do that, with the normal things at hand, whether you're using copper wire, whether you're using iron, whether you're using aluminum, whatever oils that you're using to quench your system with, working with plasma, to set up an industrial type system in the home is not cost effective. Now, pretty soon, you can do that in commercial applications, and it gets more effective when you're doing that because of the physical size of things that you need to make that happen. Making a small coil put out a lot of energy. Can it be done? Yes. Can it be done safely? I mean, you got people that are tinkering and they'll take things apart and they'll run into stuff they don't understand. Capacitors, for example, I've seen capacitors that look very harmless, but you could drop a big old wrench across them and, it almost vaporized for the amount of stuff that's in there. And people just, well, it's off, and it takes time to drain off those type systems. And so getting back to basic, to something that you can interface with, protect the grid, that is the huge understanding of getting this done. So first of all, if you're going to follow me and follow along with me in the construct, the basic knowledge that I think everyone that works in this is that you've only got in a 360-degree day, okay, you've only got in that pie 120 degrees, about a third of that, and that varies depending on the time of the year when you're talking about solar. And so you're dealing with a solar window. And to calculate all these things out with the atmospheric stuff, you can look at the sun path charts for your area. I'm about on the 33rd degree latitude line, and so my solar panels should face the south about 32, 33 degrees, okay, and that would make the system more effective. And then you have shading that happens and a bird flying over, poop. So when you're talking about solar, you're especially if you're doing it for businesses and things like that, there's a lot of things to consider in that, tapping into that vein. And you've got to tap into panel cleaning. Do you have a springtime checkup? So that would include cleaning, making sure that your system's up. You have to manage that asset. So you have another cost there that the poles and wire guys, basically you can put a house together and wire it, as long as people don't fool with it and stuff and break things within it and short things out and overdrive the system or overclock the system. I've seen houses that have been fine for over 60 years and, still working, same wiring and everything else, and hadn't, been relatively safe. So when you're going with solar, you do have an asset management that you're having to put together. People that live in the north, in the northern latitudes, they have to deal with snow. Okay. Solar panels can be damaged by hail. Okay. So that little pole is awful tough up there, wind resistant and everything else, with the small profile that it has, even with the wires and stuff going through. You can see what I'm talking about. There's an asset management when you're dealing with solar. Since it is open on the roof, and I'm a sailor and I've worked with boats on the water that don't have any shade on them at all most of the time of the year, and sun energy is very, very destructive. And so the extra things of just running naked wires on a roof, you can't do that. They have to be protected and sealed from those UV rays, and PVC pipe and things like that just don't work for that. So understanding that if you're going to build a system that's going to last for a long time, there's a lot of things to do in that asset management to keep those things covered up. Pest control, mice, rats, squirrels, whatever, birds, bees, bugs, other things that can get into the different parts of the system. Anybody that's worked with pole climbing and stuff will tell you, they've gone to the top of the pole, thought everything was safe, didn't see any insect activity, and got into a panel and whoa, insects everywhere. And so the bugs in the system. So you're having to mitigate all those things. So I really want people to understand that you don't get something for nothing. You can do a lot of different things, but when you're overall looking at it for safety, convenience, and everything, the grid has done a very good job in doing that. I look at it from a project management point of view as far as design and energy storage systems. But the reason I'm looking at solar again is I'm looking for the seed energy. And the seed energy I'm looking for is, a pretty large amount, 10 kW, that's 10,000 watts of energy that I want on demand. Okay. And to do that, I'm having to deal with storage systems. And storage systems are like batteries to handle those systems. Well, one of the things that we can do now is we can monitor those systems. And so you do have an expense if you want to be able to hook that up to your cell phone and see how your system's performing, what's happening in the system. We can do that, but there's a cost involved with doing that. And then if you do it wirelessly, you're having to pay some company for that service. They have 5-year contracts, they have 10-year contracts, they have 25-year contracts, and they'll sell that device with a cell data plan to be the hub. And so there's so many things that we can do in that realm with solar energy. Like I said, I'm looking at it again, but I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I've always had an independent spirit, but I've also known how to be a team player and work with my construct. And you just have to look at that basin of what it is that you're wanting to do, how much time you're willing to spend with it. Is it fun for you? If it's not fun for you, don't do it. I mean, having fun, I can work hard and doing things, and when I enjoy it, it's so, even though I'm working hard and doing it, I like working with nature instead of against nature. I don't want something that's always pissing me off, making me mad, making me upset. I spend a lot of time in study, research, finding what's out there. I do my own experiments at home. I have that mindset, and then people do ask me on time to time, well, what are you finding with solar? What are you finding with Tesla energy? What are you finding with rockets? What are you finding with different devices? I mean, I've been on so many parts of the leading edge technology that it's I get asked these things. Being a chemist and working with water, we protect our water, protect our water, protect our water, protect our water. That's, the water is the name of the game. Protect the atmosphere, protect the atmosphere, protect the atmosphere. Don't pollute, don't pollute, don't pollute. I mean, you have to promote those ideas to where people understand to be responsible. I mean, for example, building a boat, the fiberglass from a boat, I don't know of anyone yet that knows how to take that fiberglass, grind it up, and make another useful product from it cost effectively. Okay. That's a good problem that needs to be solved. In the old days, they used to take them out and sink them, and the thing is, they make a good environment for fish and things like that. But then other companies would burn them, and so that's not good. So when you take something and put it together, being with fiberglass and resins and things like that, you're putting a product out there that's going to be around with useful service for about 50 years. And when you're talking about all composite construction, so you don't just spit that stuff out. You put good design units on it, and the biggest thing that affects a fiberglass boat is sun. Sun damage is huge. Then they'll do things like put plywood in it. They do the mass production stuff. So you have rotten transoms and, just bad layouts to even work on them, to even get the engines out and stuff. I've worked on some boats that, it took a long time just to get the engines out of the compartments the way they buried them in there, because you have to remove this, remove that, take this panel off, take this hatch out, and the convenience. It's great when it's brand new, but it's almost impossible to service some stuff and some crap that people have designed out there. I never want to be a part of that. I worked on it, and but always look before you leap is what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do, is to do my due diligence with everything in that. Yes, I want to promote the industry, if you will. Not the home market can use it. It is expensive. You have to have a return on investment to make it happen. And we are at that point that those of us that do have the ability to employ capital and grow that ability, it's really worth considering at this point. Finding the best people to supply the equipment and then manage the equipment, people that go into business, it's very important that we have those foundations put together for the industry. Understanding the different markets, the different areas, what different people need, and people that have figured that out. Where I live, they're using solar lights now in a lot of areas. Instead of the pole and wire people lights, are actually putting up their own freestanding solar lights. And so I'm really happy to start seeing that solar is being used in the industry. The federal government is giving people a 30% rebate on a system. So if you have a system that costs you $10,000, the price is $10,000, you get $3,000 of that back. Okay, so then that even makes your cost per watt even more attractive. So the return on investment can be easily seen. The next thing is aesthetics. The aesthetics of a solar system. How's that going to make my house look? Do I want to look like I'm in the space age, or do I want to look like I'm rural? The new housing designs and things like that you go into different neighborhoods, and how's that going to affect the neighborhood? Is it cool to be the first one on your block to have solar? Have those questions. We'll see. Understanding that, but the innovative response that we're going to have from the solar industry, I assure you, is going to be much more as we get more and more people coming through. I mean, people with swimming pools, solar heating with swimming pools, and I designed a tube several years ago, and $20 for a glass tube. They're on the market now. Not that I want any credit for it, but it was just smart thinking to do that. So solar hot water heaters, and understanding the different things that you can do in that vein with heating and cooling. And will it work in your areas? All those things have to be considered. It has to be a look before you leap proposition, because what'll work for me here in the DFW area in Texas might not work too well in another part of the country. But where some companies make a living on that is that they live in a real cold region of the company. They had to buy fuel to keep warm that's still more efficient, but they manufacture parts to send down to the south to do these things. You understand, it's a give and take type situation. So we have a lot of team members from all over the world trying to solve it. Wind power, um, yeah, wind generators. I think are harvesting. Anytime that you can harvest things that are in nature, but you have to understand it's a timing thing, and it has to be sized big enough to understand the blackout storms and everything that happen with that. So the grid system, is 99, 9/10% effective, and that's what you want. You want convenience. So yeah, you do have a monthly charge to keep all that up. Is it expensive? Yes, but the equipment's expensive. And then also you're employing all the people that keep those systems up. We have the best people that are managing these teams, the equipment, designing these systems, and drawings and stuff, putting it through. I assure you, when you work for a utility company, that before you do anything, you have a plan, drawing, understand the unit. It's a little bit bureaucratic, but just the placement of where that pole is going is highly considered within the rest of the consider. I mean, it's an investment, and it's there, and it's got to be maintained and looked after. So working with those utility crews and stuff like that, I've been had a ball working with them. A bunch of fun people all through the industry. So the solution that's going to drive solar panels and understanding that solar footprint is going to be the batteries. Okay. And, typically the people use lead acid batteries because they've been around. They have them in cars and things like that. Well, let me tell you, can you recondition lead acid batteries? If they're not physically damaged and somebody didn't really just melt the plates down in them, yes, we can desulfate them and reclaim batteries and actually make them useful again. But, the battery design in itself, as the battery people make a living off batteries, so they do put a planned obsolescence. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? I think to recycle something and make it better is better than having something 100 years old that loses efficiency through the process. So staying with new technology just makes sense. Okay. Solar panels, big thing is how much do they degrade? And so you have a degradation. Some people say it's 0.5%. Some people can get it down to 1% a year, but over time there's a degradation that's going to happen to your solar system. So you have to understand that it's not going to work. So you need to plan for upsizing, scalability, and so I'm looking at solar as a 7-8 year unit, starting off with not meeting my total needs, but I'm looking at a third of it, okay, of what I believe my solar needs are. So getting that solar window, understanding the solar path, the daylight hours, even though the sun's coming up right now, it's overcast, I wouldn't be producing a lot of solar today. Okay. And so overcoming those hurdles are going to be days that, yes, I can create a lot of solar, and there are going to be days that solar's not going to be too good. So, and then, years ago when I was teaching flight instruction, they had fires in Mexico, and forest fires, big ones, and the southerly winds brought all that smoke up to where I was teaching flying. And I'm going to tell you, in those days we flew and we got used to it, but it was VFR. I mean, you really couldn't see 3 miles. Okay. And you really couldn't see in some instances with all that pollution that was in the air. You couldn't even really see sometimes even a half mile, quarter mile. So it was like being in the air in a fog, and we talked, we went ahead and taught flight destruction under those conditions, and it was what it was. It was VFR conditions, but it was, just from smoke. Well, I mean, that's going to have impact if something like that happens again, because that was a long period of time that it happened. I mean, it was, I kind of recall it being like a 4 or 5 month event. All the smoke and haze that was in the air that came up from the forest fires in Mexico, in the area that I was teaching flight instruction. So, there are hazards that you have to look at when you're looking at it. So your poles and wire guys are pretty sharp guys. Take your hat off to them and say thank you, because they do keep the energy grid up. And I felt so sorry for those guys, being out in rainstorms and everything else, and the getting those wires and poles and fuses and everything back up and just working their tails off doing that. And I've got friends right now that are on outages in different parts of the world. They've been called to, go through. We need all the help we can get, all hands on deck. And they're, doing things that they wouldn't normally do on outage control to get those things back. So, you got to hand it to. It takes people to make energy, and my endeavor is not a selfish endeavor to do that. Yeah, some independence if during storms and things like that. Would it give you peace of mind? Not really. I mean, it's all about the environment. The environment is key to success. And the thing is that depending how the solar panels made, does it pollute the industry? But I do know that we use a lot of aluminum in solar panels, and there's upgrades that's going to be coming through. I mean, what I consider a high return on investment solar panel, around 400 watts per panel. I expect that we'll be buying 120 watt solar panels just by innovations and things that people can do. And that's just the way technology works. We learn and learn and learn and make it more efficient, and get that through. So but the ethical behavior, and I'm an end user like everybody else. Customer satisfaction. But it's going to take teamwork to really get this done. I'm hardworking in a lot of different areas, but I enjoy it. I have fun doing it. But you're only as good as the team members that are out there and their talents. I mean, golly, I have so many friends that are so talented that have really helped me understand this industry. So one of the people I'm dealing with now in the industry is they're a student right out of school, and they've studied everything there is to know about it before they even got into the industry, and they like it. And thanks to all the different Terra structures that they have, they can actually take a picture of your home just off what they have on the Terra stuff, put it in a 3D CAD program with all the vent pipes and everything that are existing on that structure, design the panels around that. And so then the drone technology. I mean, the industry is really supplying a different way of doing things, and lots of possibilities to when we really decide to build solar communities, we can do it. And so instead of generating with natural gas or there's another way, there's other ways to get there. And solar is one of those things that I like being on the leading edge and looking at. Still learning about it. uh, 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 the vision for it is when you take all the considerations of solar hot water heating. I believe that uh, that that heating with solar is really a neat way to go. We're going to see all kinds of things come down. It's just amazing to me to see all these people that will be coming out and get this stuff done. Like I said, the people that are out there are just absolutely astounding. And as we find the teams that are managing these talented people in this industry, it's got to get better. The educational side of it alone, if you just the monitoring side, I mean, it's just like home security. The people that monitor your system and communicate with you, able to make scheduled preventative maintenance plans, system checkup and repairs. The landscaping with these units is also a possibility. I mean, you have people that are so creative that they can actually blend this type of technology right into the environment and make it work. So I think I about covered everything that I know. All you're doing is swapping from one system to another. They're now we're at a time that the competition, if you will, of people that are still rooted in their energy with oil-based energy, natural gas. Of course, I've always loved the hydroelectric side of it. Not too far from where I live, we actually have a Tesla tower that that is obviously capable of sending out the energy wave that can be harvested with the right equipment. Of course, you're not going to find a schematic and diagram of how to do that, but those systems, have been around for a long time, and there is, a necessity for them now to keep us better prepared. I'm a good Boy Scout. I like to be better and better prepared. So that's my report for the day on this. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope this helps you. Hope I have opened up some ideas for you in the field. People that working with electronic circuits and everything, your designs and what you have, to make those semiconductors and things that will actually be the backbone of these systems are a lot go on to the coming up with the best way to do it. So, as I always say, hope you're having fun, because we are, and hope you are having fun. And just want you guys to have a blessed day, and we'll see you next trip.